The Crockett Hotel is one of the most iconic hotels in all of San Antonio. It has been serving visitors for 112 years. The Crockett Hotel is named after the legendary frontiersman Davy Crockett. Maybe you've lived in San Antonio or have at least visited and driven downtown past the Crockett Hotel sign. Having lived in San Antonio for most of my adult life, when I tell friends and family about the history of San Antonio and the Battle of the Alamo, the iconic Crockett Hotel always comes to mind. It is one of the most recognizable landmarks in downtown. Today I would like to talk to you about Davy Crockett's life before the Battle of the Alamo, his role in the Battle of the Alamo, and a brief history on the Crockett Hotel. First, I would like to talk to you about Crockett's life and what makes him the most famous frontiersman we know today. Before the Alamo, he was a legendary frontiersman from East Tennessee, and prior to his military career, he was known for skipping school, and he ran away from home at the age of 13 to avoid his father's punishment. When he returned home 2.5 years later, his family could barely recognize him because he had grown so much. After reconciling his relationship with his family, he became married and had 2 sons by 1811. In 1813, his military career began when he went to fight in the Creek Indian War to help destroy an Indian town in retaliation for their attack on an Alabama fort. He continued to fight until 1815, and when he returned home, he found he had a 3rd child, a daughter, and unfortunately his wife became ill and did not survive long after his return. For the next 20 years, the legend of Davy Crockett grew, and according to History.com, he was known for his sharpshooting skills and his hunting ability. He wrote an autobiography and became a member of Congress for a short while. He is most known for the tales of his dangerous game he liked to hunt, and one of his most memorable ones is that he stabbed a bear in the heart with a butcher knife in the pitch black night. He also helped foil an attempted assassination on Andrew Jackson and was portrayed in the play The Lion of the West, where his coonskin hat became most famous. Eventually, he moved to Texas to become a land agent. He arrived in San Antonio in early February 1836, and shortly after, Santa Anna arrived to take the Alamo. Never backing down from a fight, Davy Crockett decided to fight in the Battle of the Alamo, where he died at the Alamo on March 6, 1836. A Davy Crockett biography on sonsofdewitt.com. A Davy Crockett biography on sonsofdewittcolony.org states that Suzanne Dickerson says that Davy Crockett died outside the Alamo early in the fight, while William Travis's slave states that who is the only known survivor of the battle, states that Davy Crockett was found lying dead, surrounded by numerous Mexican soldiers who were also dead. Travis wrote that Crockett was all around the Alamo, helping encourage the men to continue to fight. Other reports state that Davy Crockett was one of 5 or 6 men who were captured by Santa Anna's army and were killed the next day per Santa Anna's orders. Regardless, Davy Crockett's reputation, fearless and bravery as a soldier, only bolstered his legacy. His heroics at the Alamo have allowed his history to live on and make him known as the legendary frontiersman we know today. Lastly, now that we know the tale of Davy Crockett, I would like to give a brief history on the Crockett Hotel here in San Antonio. The Crockett Hotel is one of the most iconic buildings in San Antonio. It was built in 1909 by Three-Link Fraternity, which dates back to the 1700s. In 1927, they added the 7-story west wing, and in 1982, a San Antonio native named John Locker bought the hotel and renovated and restored the hotel to its original architecture. This is one of the reasons why the hotel is so recognizable today. The Crockett Hotel is also on the list of Historical Hotels of America, which is a program that accepts nominations and identifies hotels that maintain the authenticity and the architectural integrity of the building. One of the most iconic things about the hotel is that it is located on the battlegrounds of the Alamo. Davy Crockett possibly died mere meters from where the hotel is located today, which is where it gets its name from. Overall, in this presentation, I discussed with you Davy Crockett's life prior to the Alamo, his role in the Alamo, and a brief history of the Crockett Hotel. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and learned more about Davy Crockett and the Crockett Hotel itself.